Hey guys, this is a bit of a homestead video. Well, it is a homestead video, and it's for all those who like to make their own bread, make their own jams, and I'm talking about bread makers today. And I got a couple of pictures. So we have a couple of bread makers, and we went through them. We go through maybe a loaf a day, maybe half a loaf a day. It depends, whether we're eating a lot or not. Depends whether the kids are into bread. Sometimes they get into bread for a while and they pound it down every time I make it, and other times we get into cereal and we don't eat as much bread. But no, we're probably using a bread maker once every couple of days at least. I happen to be right now making the dough, and that's for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons is we have this Black& Decker here. You see the picture there, and this is just your cheap. Sorry for these lousy images. I just took some quick shots of them. This is the Black& Decker. I think it's the B6000C or something. It's your bottom end, $60 Canadian Tire version bread maker, and it does. It has your jam option, and it does it does up to a 3-pound loaf, I think, and it works well. And I've done some videos using this to show how I made bread. But the problem is the bread pans go bad in them, and if you look at this one, so the seals go. I've lost the seals on 2 of my bread makers. Another bread maker was my Westband Homestyle Plus bread maker. And I actually went and purchased a second bread pan for this bread maker, and the bread pans are expensive. I mean, they're 60 bucks, especially if you can include shipping, off eBay or whatever. The bread pan's at least 30, 40 bucks, and you include another 30 for shipping. I mean, you're getting to the price of what it costs to get a whole new, Black& Decker unit from Canadian Tire on sale, and sometimes they go on sale for $50, so you can, buy a whole new bread machine for the cost of a bread pan. The trick is, if you see in this one, this is the bread pan from my the Black & Decker unit, which has the jam option now. Again, sorry about the sink and the mess there. I just took some quick shots. This is real life, this is homesteading. Not everything is 100% clean. But so the seals are gone on this, and the seals are just nylon. You can see the white ring there in the center, and they're just worn from use because we use it so often. I make hundreds of loaves in a bread machine, and in this case, the spindle, the I don't know what you call it, the stem or whatever, actually fell out because the seal was gone, and the the ring rotted out or whatever was holding it in. And on this unit, the Black & Decker, it's the cheapest. It has no user replaceable seals. They're nylon. They want you to buy a whole new bread pan. That's $60. I can buy a new bread machine for $60. So, why not go that route? But the thing is, we wear this out about once a year. So I don't want to spend $60 every single year to get a brand new bread pan. It's a little crazy. So I was using my Homestyle Plus, and that works fine. The seals are gone on it, but not as bad. The nice thing about it is that it has user replaceable seals, as I'm pointing to in the image there. Now you can go to eBay, and let me see if I can pull this up here. You can go to eBay and find some replaceable seals, but they're not all bread machines are created equal, and they don't all have replaceable seals in them. In this case, kind of the top searches for bread pan seals. Bread pan seal. Let me search it real fast on my super quick internet. So some of the top items, you should see some Breadman seals, Cuisinart bread maker, Hitachi bread maker, Breadman, Kenwood, Zojirushi bread machine, and this is for the older Zojirushi bread machines. So you can get some seals for some bread machines, but I don't have a Cuisinart and I don't have a Breadman. The Zojirushi seals are only for, and that's kind of the high-end bread machine maker. There's only seals available for its older units. None of the newer units have any seals available for them. And even at that, if you look at the seals, they're $15 plus $10 shipping. So you're talking, $25 Canadian minimum to ship it to you. Probably $30 once you figure tax. So just to get the seals, and if I needed two of them, that would be $60 basically. So at that point, why not just get a bread pan for $60? So it's a little crazy in terms of prices for these things, and there's no seals that are kind of less than $15. This well-built, this seal comes from the well-built bread machine unit, and I've researched them and looked at them a lot. This unit is a one panel unit. It's a 1 pound unit. It only bakes 1 pound at a time. So lots of bread manned units. I could get a bread man, and again, to replace a bread man pan completely, to replace the seals, it's $60 by the time I get 2 seals. To replace the pan itself, it's $60 to $100. So it's pretty expensive, and obviously the seals are what goes on it every single time. And there's not seals for every single thing. So here's some West Bend seals that probably work for my West Bend unit, which is this one I'm pointing to. It's just a little rubber grommet there. So I could replace those. So on my Black & Decker, just to reset the stage, my Black & Decker does not have replaceable seals. The West Bend does, but the problem is I make jam in my bread maker. The West Bend older style unit, home style unit, does not make jam. There's no jam setting on it. So it's not quick and easy. There's probably hacks where I could set it to the bread making option and then come quick back and just remember to shut it off before it gets to the baking time, or to fast forward ahead. I think you can set it to maybe the baking time, but the baking time doesn't mix it while it goes. The jam option on the Black & Decker actually mixes and kind of bakes as it goes for the correct amount of time, 60 minutes or whatever it is. So it's automated. The home style, I could use it, but it's tricky. I'd have to come back and stir it. I have to come back and remember to shut it off at the correct time. It just doesn't have a bread option that is just works. So it's really tricky, and I can't believe there's no options out there. I looked at the high end Zojirushi bread makers, which are $300. So let's see, Zojirushi bread machine, that's the one. And these guys are $280. This is your high-end bread maker. But the problem with these, and I'm just looking on eBay, I mean you can get them off Amazon too. Problem with these is none of these new units have user replaceable seals in them, and the bread pans for these cost $100. So once a year when I wear out my bread pan seals, I have to come and buy a new $100 bread pan. And you see it's just a standard Teflon coated bread pan with, I assume it has nylon seals in it. I can't see under this one. But a quick search of eBay will show that there's no seals available for what is the BBE C20 CEC20 unit, which is an absolute pain in the neck. So I have to pay the $80, $100 including shipping to get the new bread pan. So what's the point of purchasing this high-end unit when I have to once a year buy a brand new bread pan? So this is quite the pickle. I could keep using my home style and just make dough with it, or maybe I could get away with if I put the flour on the bottom and then the water on top, then it doesn't leak out. It has a chance to mix it before it has a chance to leak out. I can't time it overnight though, because just like with the Black & Decker, if I set it to 13 hours, that water eventually leaks out the bottom through the gaskets, through the seals. So that's a pain in the neck. again, to correctly fix it, it's $60, or for the seals, or $60 for a bread pan, at which point I might as well just buy the bread pan once a year. But I don't want to spend $60 to replace a whole bread pan every single year. I don't really want to do that with the seals either. But at least the seals, you're not replacing. You don't have a stack of bread pans building up behind you that are useless. So what to do? Like I said, I could replace the seals in the home style, but it doesn't have the jam option. I have no seal replaceability option for the Black & Decker. For the price of it, I can buy a new Black & Decker for $60 or $70 from Canadian Tire. So none of these options are any cheaper, and I'm just perplexed that even the high-end units don't come with replaceable seals for a decent price. Why am I every year having to spend $100 on a new bread pan? It just boggles my mind. So, I might happily pay, $500 for something where at least every year maybe I have a backup set of seals that maybe only costs $5 or $10. But you can't do that. There's absolutely no options out there. And I even looked at stand mixers, but there's nothing automated for stand mixers. KitchenAid stand mixer. I'll just show you what I was looking at here briefly, and you can tell me what you've done. It's for the kind of standard KitchenAid mixers, these aren't cheap units. These are $400 or $500 units from Canadian Tire. There's no automation on these things. They have on and off and constant mix options, but there's no dough setting that says mix it for 30 minutes, let it rise, mix it again for 30 minutes, let it rise and stop. There's no automation options on it, which again is bizarre to me. There's no high-priced option. There's no option at all. No matter the cost, there's no option to actually go and get something that will automatically mix my stuff without leaking and shut itself off. So the stand mixer options are not even there for me. So I'm interested to know, what options do you guys use? Do you simply go and replace your bread pan every year? Do you just give up and just manually mix your dough? Like, these save quite a bit of time when you can just drop the ingredients in and let it go. And I'd almost be happy with something that would just mix dough for me and then take the dough out and put it in the oven. But again, I had to replace the seals once a year regardless. So I'm stuck. I have to buy a bread pan or buy seals, and both of which are the same price. If it's a 2-paddle system, I have to replace the seals. If I get a high-end Zojirushi mixer, you have to pay $100 to replace the bread pan. And any of the modern units, the newest units, don't have replaceable seals. If you get kind of the older, 5-year-old, maybe nearing 10-year-old units, they do have replaceable seals. And there is one particular unit, the Zojirushi 1-pound bread maker, but it doesn't do. It only does 1-pound batches at a time. It does have a jam option. It has a single seal in it, so at least I'd only be spending $30 instead of $60. Is it worth it? It would bake a 1-pound, or I could just do I could do dough in it, but it wouldn't do 3 pounds worth of dough in order to make 2 loaves in the oven. So I'm kind of I'm stumped here. Like, it just seems there's absolutely no options, between the cheapest one. It almost seems like these are throwaway devices, and the easiest option is to simply every year go and get a new $60 bottom-of-the-line bread machine. The only thing cheaper is to go on, Kijiji or, used wherever you are, and find someone who's just trying to get rid of one because they never end up using it. And that almost seems to me seems to me to be the cheapest way to do it, even cheaper than purchasing your bottom of the line bread maker from Canadian Tire. With those units, and this may be the way I have to do it going forward, with those units I can get, you know, a new bread machine. You know, it's probably going to be a bottom of the line thing, you know, but someone's trying to get rid of it for 25, 30, 35 bucks. So you got a new bread pan with a brand new machine for that amount. And I think that's going to have to be the way I go, because I do make jam in mine. I'd like to use this Homestyle Plus. It's got the replaceable seals. But like I said, the replaceable seals, to do 2 of them, cost just as much for shipping and to purchase them as it does to get a new bread pan for $60. So nothing makes sense here. You know, just what I end up doing is going to Kijiji and just buying someone's old unit that they've never ever used, that they got for Christmas one year, and use parts from it, or just use it to make my dough and jam, because that's always more cost effective than purchasing something brand new. You know, it just boggles my mind that you can't replace or fix these units for cheaper than you can just replace them with a brand new one. So I think, you know, my options are, I'm going to use my Homestyle Plus for just dough making, because for dough making, as long as I make it in the morning, I don't have to wait overnight. It's not going to leak out overnight before it makes the dough. So I can set the ingredients in there, start mixing right away, so it doesn't leak out the bottom out of the seal. So what do I do for my jam recipe? I haven't got an option for my jam recipe. I could make it on the stove, but you know, it certainly is nice to just jam. Is that a pun? I guess it's a pun of sorts. I like to jam all my ingredients into the bowl, and just set it on the jam option and just let it go. And in an hour or whatever, you come back and you have your jam. It's all done. It's way easier than putting it on the stove and having to watch it. You know, this thing turns on and off automatically. So the jam option is key. You know, if I was only doing bread, well, then maybe I could get away with the Homestyle Plus West Bend. So I have you know, a lot of issues I'm trying to work through here, and you know, I can't believe this is as hard as it is. You know, if I had no limit for the amount of money I needed to spend in terms of initial, you know, purchase, there's not even an option out there that gives me a fiscally responsible or financially, you know, a cheap way to fix your bread pan, or to get a new bread pan. They gouge you when it comes to replacing them. All right, I guess I said all I wanted to say on that. How do you do it? Do you just do it by hand? How do you save time making bread? Do you know of any cheaper options there? Cheaper bread pan options, cheaper seal options? I can't find any. I think you know, the only way to go for anybody who's doing this is to just keep scouring used, you know, PEI, used, Kijiji, Kijiji by itself, used whatever province or state you're in, Craigslist, and just look for these units that are being sold in garage sales for 20 bucks, because people are just trying to offload them because they don't use them. And I really think, you know, it's odd. I don't know why the manufacturers do it that way. I think they almost want you just to go and buy the latest greatest for dirt cheap. But I think the only option I have is to buy a second-hand one that's been used 2-3 times. And that ends up being cheaper than going to the store and getting something on sale, or even fixing these things. So these are, you know, these are effectively disposable bread machines at that point. And I can always find them on used PI and Kijiji for 30-40 bucks. You know, used a couple of times, it always says. So I'm interested to know, what do you guys do? Do you guys have any options for replacing them? Do you find problems with your seals? Do you make bread enough in them? Or do you just, you know, make it by hand every day? Do you find that you have the time to make it by hand every day? So, all right, that's a bit of my rant, my homestead rant. Let me know what you guys do. I'd be interested to know.